Fingers pointing in all directions in San Francisco this evening over the release of the suspect in that violent assault outside a condo complex. KPIX 5 News at 5 begins right now with the blame game. Good evening, I'm Ken Bastida.
And I'm Veronica Dela Cruz. The San Francisco judge who let the man go is now doing damage control. At a hearing today, she said she only saw the terrifying surveillance video of the attack when it aired on television.
KPIX 5's Wilson Walker on the judge and the district attorney's office pointing fingers.
Well, this suddenly arranged hearing felt a little bit like a public hearing on what has become a very public case. The judge, who has been criticized for her release of the suspect, she changed course a little bit today, and she also gave her account on how this all unfolded.
Specifically, I was at a restaurant on Wednesday night, and at that restaurant, a TV was playing, and I saw what purported to be video of the incident involving Mr. Austin that gives rise to this complaint.
When Judge Christine Van Aken made the decision to release Austin James Vincent, she had not seen the tape we have all seen now, and that video, she says, has changed her perspective.
I was frankly alarmed at the level of violence that I saw on the video. And, you know, they say that a picture is worth 1,000 words, and I am ordering that Mr. Vincent go to the Sheriff's Department for application of an ankle monitor.
It does make me feel a little bit better. It's a very, very, very small victory.
Panise Kasarian, the woman attacked Sunday morning, said she is relieved to see the court taking another look at the case, but she is still frustrated.
Why wasn't it shown? It's such a big part of the evidence, such a big part of the proof point.
Now, when pressed by the judge on this matter, prosecutors said they did not present the video in the first hearing, choosing instead to rely on the details in the police report.
Oh, obviously, not just due to the nature of the video that is very public, but the nature of the charges. The added request for a video now, I'll let you draw your own conclusion as to whether or not that was ultimately necessary given the severity of the charges that we filed.
And with that, the San Francisco City Attorney's Office, Judge Van Aken's former employer, spoke in her defense, admonishing her critics. Dennis Herrera released a statement reading in part, "The rush to judgment here and the desire to pillory an outstanding officer of the court is unsettling. No one is more faithful to the facts and the law than Christine Van Aken. It's disappointing that so many were quick to criticize her without knowing all of the facts," unquote. Now, we also learned a few things about Austin Vincent today. We know that his only criminal history is a petty theft charge. He has been placed in housing since his release, and so far, he has complied with all of his court orders.
At this point, we're just going to keep helping him, and he's going to keep doing well. He's going to do great in the program.
Now, if you're thinking that the publicity surrounding this case is sort of driving the wheels of the justice system here, you are right. And just about everyone associated with this acknowledged that in some way today. Would the man have received housing so quickly without all this publicity? What would have happened had there been no video? Now, again, this is just sort of one tangled case in the tangled system that is producing results that frustrate so many San Franciscans. In San Francisco, Wilson Walker, KPIX 5.
Meanwhile, San Francisco Mayor London Breed says this is why she supports a conservatorship law that allows the city to take some of the very mentally ill off the streets, even against their will.
We're not going to be able to address what we know is a serious mental health crisis until we're prepared to make the hard decisions to basically commit people to places where they can get help.
Phil Mateer joins us now later this hour with how this case puts the city's most vexing issues in the spotlight.
Phil Mateer joins us now to talk about all this. You know, if she'd watched KPIX 5, she would have seen the video. We played the heck out of it that night. Everybody in the world saw it.
I think she might have seen it.
Phil?
All right. And meanwhile, the district attorney is still pushing back tonight, saying that the video was even more proof, if anything, that Austin James Vincent should not be released, which is basically what the judge did on the condition that he wear the ankle monitor and get treatment for the mental health issues that had him thinking that robots were taking over the world, which apparently prompted the attack. But the question remains, why did the judge, as Kim pointed out, Christine Van Aken, first reject a call to lock him up, then change her mind? Well, here's what the judge had to say today.
Specifically, I was at a restaurant on Wednesday night, and at that restaurant, a TV was playing, and I saw what purported to be video of the incident involving Mr. Austin that gives rise to this complaint. I was frankly alarmed at the level of violence that I saw on the video. You know, they say that a picture is worth 1,000 words.
Indeed, pictures are worth 1,000 words, and even more when they wind up going viral and on TV, like this picture of the suspect, the mugshot. But the fact is, videos like this are rarely used in the first hearings, where police reports and independent evaluation reports are the yardsticks for setting release. And in this case, the independent report said, do not release.
Interesting. You know, we talked about this off the air a little bit. I think this is a watershed moment for the city, because a lot of people are spending a lot of money to live in this town, and this ambivalence coming from the courts, from City Hall, in some cases, is making people mad.
Right, but it also brings up the question of what do you do with somebody who is possibly mentally ill and violently mentally ill at the same time? Do you put them in jail or do you put them in treatment? Should they get the treatment in jail? That was the past in practice years ago. Or should they get it on the streets and be voluntary? Well, that's what we're going to see, because in this case, this person is on the streets getting voluntary mental health. Will they take it? Will it take, or will we have a replay, in which case we will have a real incident?
What normally happens in a situation like this? Is it customary to place the suspect on a 72-hour psychiatric hold?
That's interesting. That's really interesting, because as a rule, what happens is if you're, let's say, on the streets of San Francisco and having a psychotic break, running around naked or something and screaming, they will take you for a psychic evaluation, 72 hours probably. But if you're in on a criminal charge, you are spend your time in jail, and then when you go in front of the judge, the decision is made whether to make a psychiatric evaluation. In this case, the person appeared to be normal, or as normal as we saw that mugshot, and the decision was made.
Yeah, they only have 48 hours to do that, and they got to kick you loose.